All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Pat. If you want more information about the newsletter and about VCDl in general, see this man over here in the orange hat? He's passed on a whole bunch of literature. Again, it's no charge. Next up is Ken Stanton. He is the founder and vice president of the Virginia Tech chapter of the Students for Concealed Carry on Campus. Give him a round of applause, please.
This is not going to work. I'm really not used to standing up on a stage. I teach engineering freshmen, and I like standing down their level, not seeming like I'm the broadcaster of knowledge. But I'll try to deal with this for today. Found the Virginia Tech chapter of Students for Concealed Carry on Campus. I was actually raised in anti-gun New York, so I wasn't used to citizens carrying guns until I got here and found out that you can do that. Like, oh wow, we have rights here. This is interesting. But it still wasn't for me yet. And then one day, unfortunately, just about 3 years ago, a friend of mine was sitting in a classroom trying to learn, and someone walked in and took his life, unfortunately with a gun, and has turned my life upside down into considering, am I in danger when I'm teaching a class? Am I at risk when I go out to regular places? You think about someone invading your home, that's one thing. But sitting in a classroom, it changed the conversation in a lot of ways. Because, classrooms are supposed to be one of those safe places. And statistically, they still are, but it doesn't matter, right? So ever since, I pay a lot of attention to gun rights and self-defense, and really thought a lot about it. Founding the Virginia Tech chapter of Students for Concealed Carry on Campus was challenging. It's the kind of place where people are very sensitive to this issue, and it's hotly contested, and a lot of things are going on. But 3 years later, we've got over 200 members. We base the organization in educational goals, which kind of makes sense being in higher education, right? But not on protesting so much, not on, rah, rah, we're here, but really talking to people, showing what gun owners are, who they are, what we're about. And most often, and this is what I do as an educator as well, is dispelling myths and misconceptions, such as all people who own guns are bad. And we get this image from the news, right? You watch the news at night, some bad person shot another person. You don't ever hear about the defensive stories, the 2 million a year that go on. You don't hear about those in the nightly news. All you hear about are the bad guys doing things. The guns kill people. We know the rhetoric. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. Also, this is one of my favorites I hear on campus all the time, is cars have another purpose. So that makes them okay, even though they kill lots of people every year. I'm really confused by that argument, because guns do have one purpose, to defend lives. And you don't go messing around with a gun. You can go play around with a car, you can take it to the drag strip, you can do all kinds of crazy things with it. You don't do that with a gun. When you're carrying a gun, you know what it's for. I see everyone here is holstered. You have their hands away from it. Nobody's messing around with it. No one's playing with the safety right now, right? We know what to do and what not to do. It's very different. So there are a lot of things like that we're constantly discussing with people. So we engage in debate. We write newspaper articles for the college papers and otherwise. Just generally act normal. Show people that people who own guns are just like you and I. We don't hold protests or events, especially on 4/16. The third anniversary is this Friday. We've refused, as a policy for the last 3 years, to do anything on that day. It's a day of remembrance, not a day of protest. And unfortunately, our opposition group has not respected that, and I really despise that. I think a lot of people do this too. Thank you. And a lot of the university administration have recognized us for that. In fact, the provost, the president, vice president of student affairs, a number of people have come up to me at various times and said, Ken, we really appreciate you not protesting on that day. That's appreciated. But this is where I get to the bad part. Academia is not gun friendly. I don't think this is probably news to a lot of us, but there's a serious problem here. Let me share some stories. Recently, Virginia Tech banned ammunition on campus. Yeah, I'm not sure how this happened. In fact, that's not the worst part. At first they claimed it was a fire hazard. Okay, reasonable suspicion. So the Pistol and Rifle Club did some research and said, well, no, actually, it's really not. And my sister's a firefighter too, and said, no, it's really not a big deal. So when we presented this research, guess what they did? Changed the argument to, well, we're at Virginia Tech, and people are scared of guns and ammunition. So if they saw that in a dorm room, they might be really fearful. I'm serious. They changed the argument midstream, pushing it through the governance of Virginia Tech, and it passed. We had no answer for that, obviously. It's very frustrating. And this at a school who wants to be one of the top research institutions in the country, we can just wave off research whenever we want to. We'll change the argument. That's fine. This is a cultural attack on gun rights. Being in higher education, students, young people growing up, this is where they really start to be independent for the first time. This is where they find themselves. This is where they come to be who they are. And if they're not exposed to all of these things, they can make their own choice, whether or not they want to be a supporter of gun rights or to carry one for themselves or whatever it is. This is the time when they make those decisions. It's really crucial. So this next story will really shock you. This just happened a few days ago. As I said, I teach freshman engineering courses. And I have a lot of students who really appreciate me and my teaching, which is excellent. Maybe it's because I respect them and I give them a little bit of freedom in the classroom. Maybe it's something like that. So one of them recently nominated me for what's called the favorite faculty. I'm very honored. It's spectacular. I get to go to this reception. There were like 300 people there, about 100, 150 students and 150 faculty. And they had a guest speaker. The Associate Vice President of Student Affairs got up to speak. And he's new. He just came here from Texas. So he's telling us about how welcome he feels at Virginia Tech. And certainly if you've been there, it is a very welcoming place. I mean, it always has been and always will be. So he's telling a story about how he bought a couch up in Roanoke and was driving it back down the highway in his pickup truck in '81. You can kind of see where the story's going, right? He didn't take the cushions off the couch. So one of them flies off while he's driving down the highway. He doesn't notice. Well, a nice, polite Virginian pulls up next to him and kind of flags him down and says, pull over. So what does he tell us? He says to us, the audience, I don't know, I was a little nervous because I heard of all these people concealed carrying around here. In front of 300 people. I was appalled. I couldn't listen to the rest of the speech. I mean, here I am to be honored as a teacher, and here I'm being insulted for, concealed carry. Now, I went up after him, and this is the important part. I went up after him. I didn't embarrass him while he was up on stage. That's totally inappropriate. I went up to him afterwards, and I said, did I hear you right? Did you say that you were fearful of people concealed carrying? He's like, yeah. I was like, why do you feel the need to be threatened by people who care about self-defense, defending themselves and their family? Oh, well, that's not what I meant. Oh, no. So I told him, do you realize how many people in this room of 300 probably have concealed carry permits, or own a gun, or believe in self-defense? How much of your audience you just insulted as the Associate Vice President of Student Affairs? Whoops. Gotta think about this. I think a lot of people in academia think there's nobody like you and I. And you know what? In a lot of cases, that's true. We are kind of dwindling as a population in higher education. But I reminded him they pay him $150,000 a year not to insult self-defense.